Hey everyone, I am Mel from Crazy Desert Knitting. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. For all of my new viewers, welcome to the Crazy Desert Knitting family. And for all of you returning viewers, thank you guys so much for continuing to be crazy knitters with me. I love it. First and foremost, my apologies for this week. I am so sorry that it took me so long to get you guys another episode. I think we're on episode 10. If that's not right, I apologize. It has been one crazy couple of months. I tried to do an episode about 2 weeks ago, and I got it filmed and I got it downloaded to my computer and I got it 3/4 of the way edited, and my computer just died. Like, died. So I do apologize for that. So there was no way to recapture that, and by the time that all took place, I didn't have time enough to go back and redo it. So here I am today. So for all of you that are in the US, woo, tax day has passed. Yeah. So it's been a really crazy tax season for me, even though I don't actually do a whole lot of taxes. I do accounting work that goes with taxes. So it's been crazy. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. Thumbs up to that. My second apology. I apologize for the lighting today. It is very, very dark in here. Typically, I rely on a lot of natural lighting to do a lot of my filming for you guys. Typically, I do it outside, but it's even darker out there than it is in here. I've recently started trying to do stuff inside the house just to make it a little bit easier. But it's very dark outside. We have a lot of windows, and so I still rely on a lot of natural light. And we don't have a lot of natural light today. It's very cloudy outside. So I do apologize for that as well. We will kind of continue on and bear with me. Because I really want to get you guys a great episode. Okay, I think I got all my apologies out of the way. Any lovely admin stuff? I don't really have a whole lot. Check me out on Ravelry. I am Crazy Desert Knitter on Ravelry, so go ahead and check me out there. I would love to see you guys and hear from you guys, and I'm going to do so much better about actually posting my finished projects to Ravelry. You guys will never see my stash in Ravelry. It's just not going to happen. It's in my personal account, but I don't put it on Crazy Desert Knitter for some reason. I should just start loading it into there, but I don't. So I'm not very great at using Ravelry either. I do try. So check me out, Crazy Desert Knitter on Ravelry. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love to see what you guys are making. That'd be awesome. Okay, all of that stuff's out of the way. Would you guys like to see a few finished items? Yeah, I don't have many, but we're going to call a couple of finished items. So let me go and grab them. So this here is something that you guys did not know I was working on last time. And this was the Parlor Mix Scarf. And the Parlor Mix Scarf, I have no idea who designed it because there's not a name on this pattern. But it looks like this. Well, Parlor Mix Scarf. And I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know, whatever my last episode was. I have no idea what that was or when it was. But I showed you guys a ball of yarn. Basically, it looks like a giant yarn ball. And I inherited it from a lady that is part of one of my knitting groups that I go to. And she was just having so many problems dealing with it, but she loved it so much. But she didn't know, she couldn't get it to work for her. She is experiencing some health issues and trimmer issues, and yeah, she just couldn't figure it out. So she gave me the ball of yarn. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And so I decided I was actually going to make up the scarf that went with that ball of yarn, hence the Parlor Mix scarf. The ball of yarn was called the Parlor Mix. It is from Isabel's Parlor out in Wickenburg, Arizona. There are a couple left, not many on her shelves. But it's designed to make this really beautiful scarf. It's kind of like just like a giant yarn ball. But she designed everything to go together. So I decided, okay, I will make up the scarf and gift her back the scarf. And I needed a really small project that could be carried with me easily where I was going because I was doing some sitting some places and I couldn't bring this big, huge bag with me, so I decided to bring my nice, tiny, little, small one. And so I went ahead and grabbed and I made up the Parlor Mix scarf. Now, please note, that this is not blocked. You guys will notice that there's a lot of problems with me blocking stuff. I don't like blocking things, and my ends are not woven in yet. But it is a finished item, technically. I just haven't blocked it. And I have not woven in my ends. Like, I actually am standing here holding the extra, like, tail end of the wall or skein of yarn. But I love the colors, and the textures of the yarns changing is kind of interesting and weird and unique. And I love that too. So that was the Parlor Mix scarf that I made for her. And again, I do need to block it. It's not blocked, and I don't have my ends woven in yet. So that's why it looks a little bit funky, because I haven't blocked it yet. Whoops. But there we go. Welcome to a finished item. And also something else that has been sitting in my stash for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages. The funny thing is the hat's been done for like a year, but a friend of mine just recently finished it. So this is the hat. It also needs to be blocked. As I said, you guys are going to see a theme with me in blocking. I don't know if you guys can see. There's got these like little holes in there, which is kind of cool. It's a cool looking hat. It's a big pain in the behind to actually make it, to be honest with you. I don't think I would ever do this pattern again. It's out of a Noro Book of Yarn Patterns. I actually don't even remember the pattern name. I actually got rid of the pattern name because I didn't like it. I got rid of it. But it does use Noro yarn, and this is the leftovers from the ball yarn I used. I have no idea what I'm going to use with the rest of this, but it is the leftovers. But a friend of mine, I was like, you know, it needs a little something something. It's a nice hat, but it needs a little something something. And I did the cast on way too tight, so it doesn't even fit my head. It fits my mom's head because she's got a small head, but like it doesn't fit my head. It fits my cousin's head, you know, those kind of things. I got a really round head. My mom's got more of a rectangular head, so it's a little bit smaller around. So it fits my mom's head, but it does not fit my head. But even then, I realized that it needed something. It's a little plain. So I decided, one of my friends was kind enough when we went camping the other weekend to make me a nice tiny little flower for it. So I do need to sew it on. I do need to sew my flower on, and I'm probably going to put a button in the center there and maybe a little butterfly that I have floating around the house. But I am going to make that. So it's going to be kind of cute that way. So that's another finished item. As you guys can tell, I have a blocking issue. If you guys want to like continue my blocking issue, so this lovely top, the Odell top, you guys saw this. I was making this, let's see, episode 1 through like 4, I think it was. I still haven't blocked this top. I wear it every once in a while. It's really nice and it's comfy, but I've never actually blocked the top. That sounds really bad. I still haven't blocked it. Don't ask me why. I'm a bad blocker. I do all my blocking all at once. So there is that. Okay, that is everything for finished items. I do have a couple of whips and a couple of extra whips that you guys can't even see. Fun. Okay, so let me grab those real quick and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. So as I said, I was going to grab my whips and I was going to be right back. Well, my first and foremost whip is my lovely Driftwood tee. I can hold that up. And it is by Mercedes Tarasovich Clark. If I am saying your name wrong, I will apologize. I will also put it on the screen somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be there or there, but it will be on the screen somewhere. It's called the Driftwood tee. You guys saw this last episode. I did actually wind up finishing the front half. So let me show you that. Let me find my armholes. There we go. Okay, so if you guys remember, my front half used to be like this big now. Or my back half. This is actually my back half. It is this big. So my arms are here. And you guys don't do very big armholes, like very wide, like cast-ons for arms in this one. But it's really nice. There's my neckline. Yeah, there's my neckline. and it goes down to my other arm. I actually really enjoyed the lace pattern that was sitting here. So that was my lace pattern. It just adds just a little bit of detail to it. It's really nice. Ooh, the light just got better. And this yarn is 100% bamboo yarn. I believe the blue color is Pacific, and it's Southwest Trading Company, I think is the yarn. It's been in my stash for ages. As you guys might remember, I had a goal this year of de-stashing by 5%, or reducing my stash by 5%. This is part of that effort. So this is the front or back half. I'm sorry, it's the back half. I know it's the back half, unblocked. And you guys can see like there's like little strings hanging out. I have not woven in any of my ends yet either, which I probably should do. But back half, like there seems to be, oh, that's why. I need to weave in my ends just to hold everything together. Right now everything's tied in bows. So back half. So let me show you guys where I got to in the front half. So I'm kind of excited about the front. I think the front's actually a little more difficult than the back, to be honest with you. But the other reason why the front is more difficult is the lace pattern comes at the end of the row, not the beginning of the row. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. There you go. Ha 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 ha. So now I've got the front half, and there is my lace pattern. I'm almost done with the lace pattern, and then I just have the rest of the body, the top half, to go. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. I have not been able to get back to this one for a little bit now. It's probably going to be another week or so before I can get back to it again. Wow, I can talk. But, so I've learned a few things with this pattern. I'm going to let you guys know what I learned with this pattern. The sleeves. The decreasing for the shoulder that we do on the Driftwood tee is apparently what they call the stair stepper decrease. And that term is not something that I've coined. I had to Google it. Okay, actually YouTubed it. But a couple of the things that I have learned from a couple of the ladies in my knitting group and a little bit of a few other podcasters that have told me is that when you are doing the decrease for the shoulder, if you guys remember, this one I had a lot of problems with. I actually had to come through and I put another detail in here to try to clean up my shoulder a little bit because it had the same stair stepper quality to it. Make sure you guys can see that. I did it on both sides. And again, it's unblocked, so it's not quite what I would like yet, but my seam actually is not in the center of my shoulder either. It's a little bit further back than the center of my shoulder. I just realized this. But I found with the Odell top, when I was doing the decrease, I had these big giant jumping gaps almost when I would stair step up rows. So I would decrease, knit back across, knit back, and then when I would go to decrease again, I'd have that big step. I mean, I would have a big step, which would leave me kind of almost a hole in my yarn. I have no idea what that sound was. But there were a few tips and tricks that somebody gave me to try to reduce that decrease in that hole in that yarn. First and foremost, your first 2 stitches of your row when you knit, and like, so once you're done decreasing and then that first one that you knit and the next one you knit, so the first 2 that you knit, pull them really, really tight. Give an extra little tug onto that yarn. And then when you come back, the last 3 stitches that either you knit or you purl, whichever one's on the way back, give an extra little tug on that yarn too. I'm like, well, how simple could that have been? Like, why didn't I think of that? You know, that kind of stuff. The other tip that they gave me is when you're going to decrease, so that first knit to decrease or purl to decrease, depending on how you're doing it, go ahead and knit through the back loop, back of the stitch, because it twists it and tightens it up just a little bit and helps reduce that gap that you're gonna get. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense too. So that did make I'm gonna grab out my paper here, or my project here. my shoulder decreases, you guys probably aren't gonna be able to see this, but they came out much cleaner. So there's one. Yeah, like they came out much smoother, much cleaner, much tighter than before. I'm not even sure where they all are in there. But I don't have these big, giant, hulking gaps that I used to have. So that's going to be kind of nice. Now, you guys are looking at this going, wow, that's a really big piece. A, I'm not the smallest girl in the world. B, it is actually going to be a little bit bigger than what I need it to be. But I figured because it's bamboo, I'm going to toss it in the dryer and it's going to shrink just a smidge. So I added extra length to this. I left my arms alone. But as I said in the last episode, I went ahead and added a couple of extra, like 5 extra rows to the bottom. So this bottom border here, I added 5 extra rows to that. And then I added a couple of extra inches before doing my arms in the body. Most knit tops I found are designed to end basically your pant line. I like my shirts to go a little bit longer. And I had enough yarn, so I said, let's go for it. And so far, it's going to look really good and it's going to work really well. So there is that. So I'm looking really forward to finishing that up. Those are the few things that I did change and I did learn. So the stair step or decrease, I did learn that. Knitting through the back loop on the first stitch on both sides, and also giving an extra little tug, which is saying something because I'm a tight knitter to begin with and I still struggled with that. So just keep that in mind. I'm a really tight knitter. Everything I do, I go up a minimum of one needle size. So that's really strange. Something else I learned, my personal preference, bamboo yarn and metal needles, not my thing. Bamboo yarn, wood needles, thumbs up. But because I started this project on metal needles, I need to finish the project on metal needles. I found that I actually have a slightly different gauge. And I'm not talking a lot, I'm talking like 1/8 of an inch for every 4 inches. But by the time you get done, that's like an extra 2 inches. By the time you like do the math and equal it out and all that stuff. It's about an extra inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So I decided to continue on with my metal needles. Fun, right? So there we go. Okay, that was one whip. Still on my needles, still working on it, you know. Would you guys like to see the next one? So you guys have heard me that I've been working with the lovely Building with Lace shawl. And it is turning out absolutely beautiful. I have not shown you guys March yet. So I'm going to show you guys March. My shawl got a little big, or has gotten bigger. And I will tell you that I absolutely despised this square. Or this block to the shawl. Where'd it go? There it is. That's my friend. That, put this in the light as much as I can here. And then I'm going to give you guys a close-up, is the block. So that is the third block. Now you're looking at this going, wow, that's kind of seems quite a bit larger than my other two, because this is my second block and that's my first. This one looks quite a bit larger. And we do less repeats. That's the funniest thing. All of these yarn overs in here are double yarn overs. And then we've got like these little wrapped stitches in here as well. I don't know if you guys can see that. But the wrapped stitches as well. I can tell you, I ripped out the square more than I have ripped out anything in my life. Like, I've done a fair share of tinking and ripping and frogging in general. I have never tinked so much. I have never frogged so much. I have never ripped out a single row so much. The first 8 rows I ripped out 3 times. The last 8 rows I ripped out 3 times. I don't know what it was about the first 8 rows, and I don't know what it was about the last 8 rows. But I did find out there was 3 other people that I know that's also doing this project. And so one of my friends who watches my podcast, hi, she ripped it out a ton of times too. So I didn't feel so bad. She came to me, she's like, how many times did you rip it out? I'm like, a lot. And I don't normally rip. I normally just kind of, you know, especially if it's not a big deal, I typically just go like, oh, okay, I'm going to live with it. I couldn't live with it in this one. We found the double yarn overs to be very hard to control. Both of us did, I believe. I know I did. And then my wraps, my stitch wraps, so like these little things here. You guys can see the wrap right there. I found those very hard to gauge because I don't want to make them too tight, but I didn't want to make them too loose either. And I found that very hard to gauge what was what and when was when and how was how, but I found that difficult. I found that very, very difficult, but I really enjoy this pattern. This pattern is by Michelle Hunter. The entire book is written really, really well. I really enjoy that. It's going to be beautiful by the time I get done. So, I don't know. Like this square here, I'm telling you, it was just, this block here was just, it was not my thing. Not that the pattern isn't beautiful when it's done, and I bet you when I get it blocked, here's my blocking thing. I'm not done with the project yet, so I don't have to block it yet, right? I bet you when it's blocked though, it's going to be even more beautiful because it's definitely going to allow this first pattern to come out and shine, and the second pattern to be nice and pretty, and then this one as well to really open up and be big and beautiful and amazing. But this one's not my favorite. I found the double yarn overs very hard to control. So other than that, beautiful. Again, if you guys are doing this project, I would strongly suggest getting a yarn that's got a better twist on it than I have on mine. And if somebody's asking me exactly what yarn I'm using, I don't remember, let me look. So hold on, I'm gonna lean down. Okay, what yarn am I using? I'm using Taki Yarns Alden. And it's a beautiful yarn. It actually makes the project come out really nice and pretty, but it doesn't have a very good twist on it. And when lace work is done, you want something that has a decent twist on it, I found out. Because you're using a lot of yarn overs, you're using a lot of, and I'm using lace tip needles. Partially because I knit so tight and partially because that's what the pattern called for. And she gave a really great reason for using lace tip needles. Because you're trying to get in very tight spaces. So, that kind of stuff. So again, Building with Lace, Michelle Hunter. She is Knit Purl Hunter. Grab it from your local yarn store. Grab it. I actually strongly suggest the actual booklet. I've seen the printout. The booklet's almost easier to work with. I am getting ready soon to start the next block, which I have no idea what that's going to be. Apparently, it's Cables and Lace. That's going to be the next one. But that's April's, and I haven't done April's yet, so my bad. I got 10 days. I got to get on that. So, but there's that. So that's going to be fun. All right. So, another work in progress that I actually don't have with me. It's sitting somewhere else, actually at another location. I started the Hitchhiker, the little Hitchhiker shawl. I was in need of a gift for somebody, and I went ahead and picked up a Zoba Ball, Zaueball. It's the Zoba Ball 100 meter, colorway $16.99. It's got purples and blues and lighter blues and darker blues and dark purples and light purples, and yeah, that's what it is. Gorgeous yarn. I was in need of a really fast project for a gift, and she has always coveted some of my knitting items, and I've never actually knit her anything. And I owe her a giant thank you, and I owe her a goodbye present because she's actually moving. So I gotta get that done by the 20th. So that's, off being worked on. It's almost done. I will make sure I take pictures before I actually give it away. But everybody has seen The Hitchhiker, but in this colorway, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I will take pictures of that. Nice, good pictures, just so you guys all know. What is coming up on my list of things to knit? I'm probably going to be knitting a charity item or two soon, just to get a couple of really quick, easy projects out the door. I don't know what they're going to be yet. I'm probably going to be a couple of fingerless mitts, because that's what a few of the charities are asking for, are fingerless mitts. Probably hats and maybe another scarf, who knows, depends on what happens and when and all that kind of stuff. I'm also probably going to be starting a cardigan. I'm not a fan of buttons on my cardigan, so it took me a while to find one that I really, really liked. I will share that with you next time. Let's hope I actually have the driftwood tee done by then. I am trying to finish up so much stuff right now, and it's driving me crazy. I have too many things going open that I have to finish them all, almost, except for the Building with Lace shawl. It's 1 block a month, and I can kind of set that aside and say, okay, it is what it is. But the fact that I have the driftwood tee and the Hitchhiker going at the same time is making me a little batty. I know that sounds really weird. Most knitters have 4 or 5 projects going. I can't even have 2. Like, it's driving me nuts. So I do need to finish those 2 things up and do my block for this before I can start the cardigan. But I am going to start a cardigan. And I am kind of in need of, I believe, probably a lace shawl for my friend's wedding. She just got engaged, and she asked me if I could do something for her, because she loves my work, but she doesn't know what yet. So I'm kind of waiting to see what kind of a wedding dress she's going to get, or what color of a wedding dress she's going to get, before I really start that. But there's a good chance that the lace shawl that I wanted to do, the shipwreck shawl, may be in her colorway for her wedding. I don't know yet. That is going to be an endeavor. I also believe that I am soon going to be in need of a few baby items. A couple of coworkers, a couple of friends. I think it's coming around the corner, and I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to wait until the very last minute. For coworkers and stuff, I love to do things like washcloths, like really nice plush washcloths for the babies. And then you can put like them in a nice little basket with some shampoos and that kind of stuff. And it makes a great little baby shower gift for people. They get something a little bit hand knit, so you get to knit something for a baby. You can put fun animals and stuff on it, and so the kids really like it, in the bright and fun colors. But then you're not wasting a lot of time on somebody that may not appreciate it either. So that's really nice. I might be doing like a sleep sack. There's like this owl sleep sack that's out there that's really stinking adorable, and I really want to make it. So I might be making that as well. These are all things I have no idea when I'm going to get around to actually making them. I do need to make a dog mat, which is probably going to be crocheted. Probably going to be a crocheted dog mat. I have some old sheets. I don't know if you guys have seen on Pinterest. Like the t-shirt yarn that's kind of coming out, or that has been out, where you take old t-shirts and you make it into yarn, and then you use that to knit or crochet with. I think I've got an old set of sheets that I'm going to do the same thing with, and the mat's going to go in my dog's kennel, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be great. My dog went camping with us for the first time last weekend. He liked it and he hated it all at the same time. He thinks that if he goes into a tent now, he gets a marshmallow. My dog needs some daily medication. He's got something called valley fever. And so I put his medication in a marshmallow because it's easier than peanut butter when you're, traveling and stuff. So I brought marshmallows with, and I put it in there while his medicine was in the tent. So I'd always give him his medicine in the tent. So I'd bring the marshmallow into the tent, and now he has this assumption that every time he goes into a tent, he gets a marshmallow. Good thing, I guess. It gets him into a tent real easy. But the mat for his kennel will also work for camping really well, which would be really nice, so that we don't have to worry about it. And it smells like me and that kind of stuff, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So that's all cool. That's also on my list. That actually might be sooner rather than later, because I do need to get a new mat for his kennel, and so I might as well just do that. What else is on my list right now? Other than that, I'm kind of looking at a pair of fingerless mitts for myself. I got big hands too, which is kind of me. So I'm thinking about doing that, and I'm thinking about a couple of hats for Christmas. I am starting to look at things that are, it's becoming summertime here in the lovely Arizona, which is very hot because we live in the desert. So anything I do, I want it to be smaller. I don't want to have blankets and stuff like that sitting on my lap in the middle of the summer. It's too hot, even though this is the time to knit them, so that you can use them come winter. But it's too hot for me to use in the summer. So I just can't take it. So I'm looking for things that are smaller projects, things that I don't have to worry about, that kind of, are small, fingerless mitts and hats and small things that I can knit. Not because they're quick or fast or whatever, it's just because they're less hot sitting on your lap. That's my whole reasoning. I have no other reasoning, guys, except for it's too hot to sit on your lap. I did try last year to make an entire blanket, and I mean a full-size, throw blanket in the middle of July. It was like 115 degrees outside, and here I am knitting a blanket that is sitting in my lap. Way too hot. So there's that. Other than those things, a couple of charity items, possibly a few baby items coming out, the cardigan and the sleeping mat and possibly the wedding shawl. I mean, again, that's like 6 things, man. I got like 6 things on my list. This is horrible. I gotta get going. Okay, so I think that's everything. I didn't have any stash enhancements this time except for the Zoba ball that I used to create the hitchhiker. I haven't bought any other yarn. I haven't done any of that kind of stuff. So that's nice and fun, which is sad because I haven't bought any yarn, but fun. But so I guess in closing, if you guys, I would love to hear from you. Either leave me a comment here on YouTube or go ahead and find me on Ravelry and leave me a message on Ravelry. I would love to hear from you. I am so sorry again that it's taken me so long, and as well as the lighting here today. Hopefully next week will be, or next time will be a little better, probably in 2 weeks. I would love to hear what you guys are doing. So let me see some pictures of your finished work. I would love to share that with you as well, and everybody else. And so until then, this is Mel from Crazy Desert Knitting saying thank you guys so much for joining me. And until I see you again, just keep knitting, everybody. Bye.